How's it going, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. This video is going to be doing a viewer requested matchup, and that is DC's very own Batman versus, of course, Marvel's Iron Man. So when I started doing these versus videos in my versus series of putting two comic book characters or just characters together against each other and kind of, going through the logic in my mind of who I think would win in a battle to the death or just a match, let's say. I never thought this many people would be interested in seeing them, but as it looks like, a lot of people really like my versus videos. So I'm going to continue doing them. I won't be doing them all the time. Here or there, I'll be doing a matchup. And again, if you guys haven't seen all my older ones, you can look through my channel. I created a playlist, and you can go through and just type in versus on my channel. You'll find it, and you'll see all the different versus matchups I've done and who I think would win for each of them. So two that I haven't matched up yet, what we're going to do right now is going to be Batman and Iron Man, of course. Two of the biggest characters in all of comic books. You have DC, in my opinion, DC's biggest character now. At one time, that was always Superman, but I feel like with the last three Batman movies and just everything going on with Batman, that Batman is now DC's biggest character, my opinion. The Man of Steel movie may change that, but in terms of the popular culture and everything, I think Batman is number one, really. For Marvel, Iron Man is not really number one, I wouldn't say, but he's up there. I mean, he's been doing really well. He's had two movies, a cartoon series, which he hasn't had since the 90s. His comic book sells pretty well too, in terms of which ones sell the most each month. He does pretty well. I think pretty sure he's in the top 20 or 30 usually every week or so. And it has been pretty good lately. Now, which version of Batman and Iron Man are we going with here? Well, let's go with just your basic Batman versus your basic Iron Man. Bruce Wayne, of course, Tony Stark. But the reason why I say that is because Iron Man in the last few years has gotten a lot of different power-ups with his different armor and stuff, and his armor becoming a part of him with the extremis and the bleeding edge and all that kind of stuff. So, part of his body. So let's just go with like your atypical Iron Man before that, let's say, because that's a little bit of a different matchup. Nowadays, he has more powers in the comics, like healing factor, different things like this. Obviously, a lot more resistance because the armor and him have merged into one, so to speak. So let's just look at like a classic Iron Man, let's say, maybe 10, 20 years ago type of thing in the stories, comic book stories, versus your classic Bruce Wayne Batman. That being said, no preparation for this. Who would win? Well, on one hand, of course, Iron Man, he's got lots of armor, got lots of heavy-duty weaponry that Batman's going to have to deal with. He's got his repulsor rays. He's got his armor that's going to help him sort of absorb any kind of damage and make a lot of Batman's gadgets kind of useless, as well as his hand-to-hand combat useless, unless Batman uses his electric gauntlets, which he tends to use a lot against characters that are more powerful. So if he's going to be fighting, any character that would have a lot more strength or kind of is higher in that tier of, in terms of powers, he will use electric gauntlets like that to sort of, make it closer. So let's give him that. Let's say that he has that, because he does carry all kinds of shit in his utility belt. So let's just say he has it, or in and around, so he has access to that. With that, I think that would change the matchup. So if Batman is able to actually punch and hurt Iron Man using something like that, like his electric gauntlets, let's say, I think that really changes this matchup quite a bit. Without that, of course, if he has no gadgets, then Iron Man's going to win, obviously. But this is Batman. He's always got gadgets. He's got something. He's ready, no matter what, for any circumstances. So for me, in this matchup, if you're going to give him that, I'm going to have to go with Batman. Because of the fact that he's such a better fighter than Iron Man. Iron Man is, he's not, your classic Iron Man anyway, is not a great fighter. He's not. He uses his technology, his suit, his weaponry to fight. But he does not have that kind of physical, expertise that Batman obviously does. I also did a matchup breakdown of Captain America versus Batman, and I went with Batman in that one as well, because I do think that when it comes to Batman, you have to put him in terms of his fighting prowess, his skills, at the very top. You know, aside from the fact that he's not superhuman, his technique, I would say, in comic books is among the best of any either, you know, Marvel, DC, anything like that, Image, whatever you want to say. Batman's fighting prowess is right up there with anybody. The amount of martial arts he knows, his techniques, his experience. I mean, there's nobody in comic books that really has more experience than Bruce Wayne as Batman. And with the right gadgets, I think this is a wash. I think Batman pretty easily handles Iron Man. Even though Iron Man's weaponry could probably give him an advantage in the beginning, I think sooner or later Batman's going to start landing some blows, and pretty soon Iron Man will be KTFO. Anyway, I think that's really all I want to say about this one. My opinion, of course. I know there's a lot of Iron Man lovers out there who might disagree with me, but with the gadgets, the fighting prowess versus just the armor, weaponry, without that kind of experience and you know, ability, I have to go with Batman. Also, Tony Stark is really smart, but he's intelligent in his own way. He's not intelligent in the way Batman is intelligent. They're both geniuses. They're both, you know, billionaires, extremely wealthy men. But Batman is a genius when it comes to logic, fighting, environment, you know, all these things because of his experience, whereas Iron Man is more, I want to say, book smart versus street smart. I mean, if you want to take Batman, he's the most street smart person you could ever imagine. Okay? Then you want to take Iron Man. He's very book smart. He beat Batman in a math test, let's say, probably, or in engineering, of course. If it was a test, then he would be smarter when it comes to that. But Batman's smarter, I think, when it comes to the streets, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to all of those things, and logic in general. I would go with Batman too. So those are my thoughts on it, the matchup. Let me know what you guys think about it, and that's it for this one. For more matchup suggestions, please write them in the comments, and I will consider them. And every month or a couple weeks or whenever, I will get to them. Anyway, that's it for this one. Trev says Batman wins. Later, guys. Peace.